Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa taruvesya kripa sindhuvya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Deenatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. So we were discussing about Vena, and we saw how the sages made Vena the king, and then there was so much of problem. Previously the thieves and robbers were creating problem, and then Vena created problem, and the sages were contemplating what to do now because Vena is creating problem. So then sages thought of an idea that we must go and convince Vena to stop all these activities. So the sages, they came to Vena, and from verse 16 to 20 we will see today what the sages are telling to Vena and what Vena is telling to the sages, and what we can learn from both their discussion. So this is today's topic of discussion. Can everyone switch on their videos? And who is this like? Someone, it is written like. Yes, Madhur Kohli Prabhu, can you tell like to either switch on video or find out who is like? Please, everyone.
Krishna Prabhuji, Danut Pranam, she has not responded. Prabhuji, I requested to change the ID, but she has not responded.
Okay, so
there's one more cases like this, but
those who are not of this class, please leave the meeting, or we can remove them, and those who are of the English class, they only stay back. Baki sab with me. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this is from 4th canto. This is text number 16. Okay. The sages continued, O great hero, you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulent and royal position. Text 17. The saintly persons continued, when the king protects the citizens from the disturbances of mischievous ministers, as well as from thieves and rogues, he can, by virtue of his such pious activities, accept taxes given by his subjects. Thus, a pious king can certainly enjoy himself in this world as well as in the life after death. And they're telling to Vena, who is most impious from his childhood, they're telling to Vena. You see how the sages are having so much of hope. So one thing we can learn from the sages and from the sadhus are they never give up hope. So they have so much of hope that Vena, just by advice, some good words, Vena will change, right? And then they have come and speaking all these such good words to Vena. The king is supposed to be pious, Vena. Yeah. So the sages are so hopeful that by hearing some good words or some things about the something from the scriptures, the Vena will actually change his attitude. So the sages are telling, the king is supposed to be pious, in whose state and cities the general populace strictly observes the system of 8 social orders of Varna and Ashrama, and where all citizens engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their particular occupations. So the king is supposed to be pious. So they are telling. So, O noble one, if the king sees that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, and the supersoul within everyone is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. So they are telling that you should be pious, you should ensure that that you are the king, you should see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied, and you should ensure that all the citizens are worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And we will discuss today verse number 20. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasmin stushte kim aprapyam. Anyone?
Tasmin tushte kim aprapyam.
Jagatam Ishwareshware.
Jagatam Ishwareshware.
Loka sapala hi etasmai.
Loka sapala etasmai.
Haranti balimadhrita.
Haranti balimadhrita.
Tasmin stushte kim aprapyam.
Tasmin tushte kim aprapyam.
Jagatam Ishwareshware.
Jagatam Ishwareshware.
Loka sapala hi etasmai.
Loka sapala hi etasmai.
Haranti balimadhrita.
Haranti balimadhrita.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by the great demigods who are controllers of universal affairs. When He is satisfied, nothing is impossible to achieve. For this reason, all demigods, presiding deities of different planets, as well as the inhabitants of their planets, take great pleasure in offering all kinds of paraphernalia for His worship. Purport: all Vedic civilization is summarized in this verse. All living entities, either on this planet or on other planets, have to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their respective duties. When He is satisfied, all necessities of life are automatically supplied. In Vedas, it is also stated, Eko Vahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. From Vedas, we understand that He is supplying everyone's necessities, and we can actually see that the lower animals, the birds and the beasts, have no business or profession, yet are not dying for want of food. They are all living in nature's way, and they all have the necessities of life provided, namely eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Human society, however, has artificially created a type of civilization which makes one forgetful of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada is telling here how that the lower animals, they do not have B.Tech degree, M.Tech degree, the MBA degree, and they are not doing any business or profession, and they are not in want of food, they are not dying of want of food. They are all getting, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, they are all doing. But in human society, we have created something, a civilization, where we have created that we need to do business, then only we'll eat, otherwise we'll die. So like this, the sages, they said that you must worship Vishnu, you must make your citizens worship Vishnu, and you see, not that the citizens are worshipping Vishnu, the demigods are worshipping also Vishnu, and the presiding deities of all the planets are worshipping Vishnu. So it is the duty of the king to make the citizens worship Vishnu. It is the duty of king that he himself should be Krishna conscious. So like this, very good advice, and they gave. And then in the verse 21, dear king, the supreme personality of Godhead along with predominating deities is the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. So this is very important. So he's telling that the supreme personality of Godhead along with the deities is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices in the planets. The Supreme Lord is the sum total of all three Vedas, the owner of everything, and the ultimate goal of all austerity. Therefore, your countrymen should engage in performing various sacrifices for your elevation. Indeed, you should always direct them towards offering of sacrifices. So they are telling that your countrymen, your citizens, all should do the nice sacrifices and all, and they should worship the Supreme Personality of God. And like this, they are telling. And then the last verse, they are concluding. So when all the Brahmanas engage in performing sacrifices in your kingdom, all the demigods who are plenary expansions of the Lord will be very much satisfied by their activities and will give you your desired result. Therefore, O hero, do not stop the sacrificial performances. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. So this is their final instruction. So their final instruction is that do not stop the sacrificial performances. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. This is their final thing. So basically they are telling that the duty of the king is to worship the Lord. The duty of the king is not to just worship the Lord, but make the citizens worship the Lord. And in order to give him more understanding that it's not that you are the only king who is worshipping the Supreme Lord, or we are the only sages whom we are instructing. There are so many other kings, much greater kings, like the demigods. They are worshipping Supreme Lord. So who are you, small king of this earth? The king of heaven is worshipping Supreme Lord. The Brahma is worshipping Supreme Lord. So who are you? You must also worship the Supreme Lord. You must engage all your citizens in engaged in worshipping the Supreme Lord. So what all things he is telling? So if you see, the first thing he is telling about the duty of king. This is first thing he is telling. The second thing he is telling, so the duty of the king is to worship the Supreme Lord, and not just worship the Supreme Lord, also engage all citizens in similar way. And then he is telling that if you do this duty, two duties, one is to worship the Supreme Lord, two is to engage all the citizens in the worship of the Supreme Lord. If you do these two duties very nicely, then what will happen is the result will be you will be elevated to higher planets. And not just you will be elevated to higher planets, your citizens will also be elevated to higher planets. Okay. And the third thing they are telling, that you will feel satisfied by worshipping the Supreme Lord. आप खुश रहेंगे, right? And the fourth one, they are telling that you not just feel satisfied, and it's not that you are only, we are telling like this, even kings greater than you like the demigods, they are also worshipping. So who are you? As a small king, you must also worship the Supreme Lord. And then finally they said the final instruction, that don't stop the sacrifices. Like that they said, with proper understanding all those things clearly, they mention what he has to do. Now we will see what Mr. Vena is replying. Okay. This is, I think, first verse spoken by Mr. Vena. Mr. Vena's opening speech in Srimad Bhagavatam. So how many of you are really eager to learn the ideology, the philosophy, the mentality of Vena? So now we are going to learn about how Vena thinks the world or the scriptures or everything from the Vena's perspective. It's very important to know how Vena can think, right? Like sometimes I wonder, how would the sinful people who are doing all sinful activities, they would be thinking? How would those people who are eating meat, they would be thinking? What thought process goes in their mind? And how would the people who are committing so much of crime, murder, rape, they would be thinking? So Srimad Bhagavatam fulfills all the desires. It's Chintamani. It gives you information about how all the criminals also they think, right? And this criminal, you see, amazing criminal, how he is speaking such amazingly, we will see. Okay, let's start. Vena Vacha.
Vena Vacha.
So Vena was also a great soul. His Vacha is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So actually, if you become very great, then you will come in Bhagavatam. Or if you become very down, you will come in Bhagavatam. I saw that. If we are like middle class people, either you will be the upper class, then your name will come. Or if you're the completely like the underworld dawn, then it will come. So, Vena Vacha.
Vena Vacha.
Balisa Batayu Yamba.
Balisa Batayu Yamba.
Adharme Dharma Manina.
Adharme Dharma Manina.
Ye Vritti Dang Patim Hitva.
Ye Vritti Dang Patim Hitva.
Jaram Patim Upasate.
Jaram Patim Upasate.
Vena Vacha. Balisa batayuyamba adharme dharmamaninaha ye vrittidam patim hitva jaram patim upasate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Vena replied, "You are not at all experienced." So they are telling that, "Oh sages, you are all not very experienced in these matters, political matters and all these matters what you are telling. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and are accepting it as religious." I am shocked. You are supposed to be the head of religious institution, spiritual institution, and you are supposed to maintain something which is spiritual, and you are not maintaining something which is spiritual, and you are accepting something which is not spiritual. I am shocked. What kind of sages you are? Indeed, I think you are giving up your real husband who maintains you and are searching after some paramour to worship. And I feel you are like unchaste wife. The husband is maintaining you and you are not worshipping the husband, and you are going out for paramour and finding out some other partner. My goodness, sages, what you are doing? So like this, he gave a nice analogy, example, and he began his speech. So we will read the purport and then we'll continue reading his speech. Okay, maybe we will read his speech, the entire speech, and then we will. Okay. Okay. King Vena replied, "You are not at all experienced. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and are accepting something as religious. So if I think you are giving up your real husband who maintains you and are searching after some paramour to worship." So he said that you are giving up your husband and you are going for some paramour. So now he will say who is the husband and who is the paramour. Okay. "Those who out of gross ignorance do not worship the king who is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So he is telling, so if you are telling me to worship the Supreme Lord, but those who do not worship the king, actually the king is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, experience happiness neither in this world nor in the world after death. Hare Krishna. So you are telling me to worship the Supreme Lord. Actually, those who do not worship the king, who is actually the Supreme Lord, they do not experience happiness or in this world or after death. Then they said, "You are so much devoted to the demigods, but who are they? Indeed, your affection for these demigods is exactly like an affection of an unchaste woman who neglects her married life and gives all attention to her paramour." Hare Krishna. So he is telling that the unchaste women are the sages, and married life husband. Can anyone say who is the married life husband? King. Very. Vena. And paramour?
Supreme Personality of God.
Supreme Lord, and also the demigods. Like that he is telling. Okay. So now he is very clear. And then he is Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, Vayu, the master of air, Yama, the superintendent of death, the sun god, the director of rainfall, Kubera, the treasurer of the moon god, the predominating deity of earth, Agni, Varuna, Lord of waters, and all others who are great and competent to bestow benedictions or to curse, all abide in the body of the king. For this reason, the king is known as the reservoir of all demigods, Naradevata, who are simply part and parcels of the king's body. So you are telling that you should worship demigods, you should worship the Supreme Lord. Don't you know that all the Supreme Lords, everyone is residing in the body of the king? Then he is also concluding. For this reason, O Brahmanas, you should abandon envy of me. Right? And by your ritualistic activities, you should worship me and offer me all the paraphernalia. If you are intelligent, you should know that there is no possibility, no personality superior to me who can accept the first oblation of all sacrifices. Hare Krishna. So, in this way, the Brahmanas are telling that there is no one more superior to me. There is no one more better than me. Actually, I am the representative of all the demigods. I am the representative of the king. I am the representative, and you are envious of me. You should worship me, and you are going to Paramore, and I am maintaining you. I am taking care of all your needs. I am ensuring that there is good administration and everything, and you are doing like this. And we'll read now the purport. Okay. Purport. King Vena was so foolish that he accused the saintly sages of being inexperienced like small children. In other words, he was accusing them of not having perfect knowledge. In this way, he could reject their advice and make accusations against them, comparing them to a woman who does not care for her husband, who maintains her but goes to satisfy a paramour who does not maintain her. The purpose of this simile is apparent. It is duty of the Kshatriyas to engage the Brahmanas in different types of religious activity, and the king is supposed to be the maintainer of Brahmanas. If the Brahmanas worship the king, do not worship the king, but instead go to the demigods, they are as polluted as unchaste women. Hare Krishna. And then we'll just read what happened with this, and then we will continue some discussion. The great sage Maitreya continued, thus the king, who became unintelligent due to his sinful life and deviation from right path, became actually bereft of all good fortune. He could not accept the request of all the great sages, which the sages put before him with great respect, and therefore he was condemned. My dear Vidura, all good fortune unto you. The foolish king, who thought himself very learned, thus insulted the great sages, and the sages being broken-hearted by the king's words, became very angry at him. All the great sages immediately cried, kill him! Kill him! He is most dreadful and sinful person. If he lives, he will certainly turn the whole world into ashes in no time. So the sages only said, kill him, kill him, kill him, and Vena immediately died. So the sages were so powerful, they just said, kill him, kill him, kill him, and they said they didn't say kill him, they said kill him, after that they said and they left, and immediately Vena died. So we will read after Vena's death what happens, but now we will discuss about how So now the first thing we will discuss is why would Vena accuse sages of being inexperienced? Yes, anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Devatana.
Yeah.
The sage thought that Vena thought that sages are inexperienced because they still don't know that who is the real husband and who is the paramour. They are asking to worship Vishnu or who's not maintaining anyone, but Vena. But they should have instead asked to worship Vena, who is the king and who is maintaining everyone.
Okay.
So they basically thought that sages have still not learned who to worship and who not to worship.
Okay. So sages don't know whom to worship. Anyone else? Anyone else? Why Vena consider the sages to be inexperienced?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So Vena is seeing himself as the immediate cause of maintaining the sages, but he's not able to understand. Like he's giving the bread and butter to them, but just like Prabhupada says that he's not thinking where the bread and butter came from, how he's taking things to give to them.
He didn't understand from where things are coming. Okay, anyone else? Yeah.
Actually, sages are inexperienced because they have only put Vena on the seat.
Okay. Okay, sages are inexperienced because they put faith on Vena. Okay. Anyway, but Vena never thought like that. Okay, we are talking from Vena's perspective. Why Vena is telling?
As you said, by advice, Vena will change. I think that is what they are inexperienced about.
Okay. No, this is why Vena is accusing. You are not understanding the question. Why Vena is accusing? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
One by
So,
one. Yes.
So Vena was telling like all the demigods is actually deciding on him only.
Okay, so demigods are in Okay, anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I think Vena is a false ego. He thinks that he knows everything and nobody else knows.
Okay, false ego. He knows everything. Okay.
And also Prabhu, when we are in material consciousness, then whatever we see in the comparison, we boil down our qualification of a person to material object. So since sadhu and all, they are having nothing as far as material opulence is concerned. So might be he seeing in that perspective, and then he's not actually respecting him on the basis of knowledge what they have.
Okay, because he's seeing through material objects, and sadhus don't have material objects, so that's why. Okay, anyone else?
Hare Krishna.
One by one.
So sometimes, like if we read the scriptures, then scriptures also tells that a king is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is basically at that point of time is guiding the citizens in that situation, maintaining the Brahmanas. So this Vena has actually taken that literally, and rather than following the actual qualifications of the king, he has accepted that because scriptures are telling that I am the king and I am the representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you worship me only directly.
Okay, anyone else? और कोई बोल रहा था? बोलो, कौन बोल रहा है? बोलो.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
कोई माता जी बोल रही थी.
I think Vena considered himself all powerful and wished to demigod.
Okay, Prerna considered everything all.
Vena considered himself all powerful.
Oh, Vena considered all powerful. Yeah.
He's powerful. He's most powerful.
So this is mentioned, all powerful.
And he wished to demigod.
Okay, that is mentioned. He is false ego. Yes, Madhur Kolipru wants to say something and Munna is something.
Hare Krishna Prabhu is 100%.
Bolo.
Because obviously Vena was not spiritually intelligent. Bhagavad Gita where Krishna said very clearly that you are sitting on a machine and everything is being done by me. So here he was thinking he was not able to understand. He was not knowing anything about three modes and he thinks he is the doer. All power thing which are going through him, he thought actually he is the performer. And therefore, the Maya is so strong that you start believing that everything is happening only because of me.
Okay, so he was not speaking. Yes, और कोई?
And Prabhu ये भी देखना होगा कि from where this knowledge is coming, from whom he heard this.
नहीं, he is telling the right knowledge only, na? The king is the गलत तो बोल रहा है.
Somewhere he have heard the scriptures, but took it in a wrong way, may say.
Okay, so that is already.
He used the same philosophy. Yeah, from somewhere he have heard.
Yeah, so this is already. So he was taking the same philosophy and he was using it wrong way. Yes. Last. कौन बोल रहा है?
मैं बोल.
हाँ बोलो.
For materialistic person, the definition of well-wisher is one who speaks in the favor of his sense gratification. So, because they are not speaking in the favor of his own desires and sense gratification, so he is accusing them as being his enemy or as being opposed to him.
Yeah, one Hari Bol for Santanu Prabhu. Finally, the answer has come.
Hari Bol.
All other answers are also correct. So, this is what we were looking for. And this seventh one also is also correct. Others are also quite a bit correct. But the seventh one, we'll put it in assignment. Okay, so the next assignment, we will do the seventh one, seeing how people can misinterpret scriptures. We will see all different types of misinterpretations that has come. We cannot complete the list because that is also unlimited, but the famous misinterpretation of scriptures. So we'll have an assignment on it so that you can learn what all misinterpretations are there in the scriptures and how we can defend them. The misinterpretations. Okay, so this is one of the misinterpretations. So Vena is misinterpreting. Actually, it is true what Vena is telling. As if you see this statement, yeah, this one. This is actually true. Scriptural, correct? But misinterpreted. But today we will see from the purport that how Vena is telling about inexperienced. So how a person who is in the material world, so if a person is roaming in the material world, so his circle is within the definitions of the material world. Success, failure, joy, misery, wealth, satisfaction, so a person who is in this material world, so he puts a circle around it, and in that circle he defines success, failure, joy, misery, wealth, satisfaction, and based on all material definitions. Now, for pure devotees, they are in the spiritual world, and they define success, they define failures, they define joy, misery, based on the definition of the spiritual realm. What is success in spiritual realm? Can anyone say what is success in spiritual realm?
How much could I serve Krishna?
Okay, how I can serve Krishna, how I can please Krishna, whether my life is becoming more spiritually oriented, whether I am becoming more spiritually stable. How success is defined in material realm?
How people are serving us.
Yeah, how people are, how I am getting more money, how I am getting this, how I am getting this. So what is joy of spiritual world?
Prabhuji, a continuity of bhakti.
Okay, so continuity of bhakti. What is joy in material world?
Life becomes too much discipline.
Okay, life becomes discipline. So what is joy in material world? More money. Okay, Madhur Kohli Prabhu is telling more money and more money. So that is joy in material world. Okay, प्रसादम तो कंडीशन सोल नहीं सोचता है, खाना मिलेगा तो कैसे अच्छा खाना मिलेगा, मोर पैसा मिलेगा, अच्छा गाड़ी बन जाएगा, ज्यादा पैसा मिलेगा, तो ऐसे. So in the material world, wealth is the success, satisfaction is the success, satisfaction of having material prestige, all those things are success. So now,
and if your health allows to do so many things,
okay, we are,
health will become so much part of the bhakti, material world.
I didn't get what you're telling.
Means if your health give permission to do each and everything in the material world, so then life becomes more joyful.
Yeah, so if health is permitting, so then it is sone pe suhaga. You enjoy more in the material world. So because the pure devotees and the conditioned soul, they are speaking from two different perspectives, from two different realms. That is how the conditioned soul accuses the pure devotees that they are crazy people. And the pure devotees also, in turn, they accuse the conditioned soul unfortunate. They don't tell they're crazy, but they say they're unfortunate. Kya kare, what can be done? So the conditioned soul thinks that these are all pure devotees, crazy people सब छोड़ छाड़ के क्या कुछ पता नहीं भगवत धाम है कि नहीं. Now, but the problem is this, the mixed devotees. Now the mixed devotees is a problem. Actually, conditioned soul don't have any problem. The pure devotees don't have problem. They just see that these are crazy people, and the conditioned soul sees them, these are all unfortunate people. But Bhagavatam says that pure devotees are always happy in their spiritual realm. Conditioned souls are fully absorbed in their in their material realm. Now the mixed devotees are sorry. Okay, mixed devotees थोड़ा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा हो गया. Okay, I think circle होना चाहिए. हो गया. Now these are all mixed devotees, right? So these are all mixed devotees. Now mixed devotees, they have. Can anyone say what is mixed devotees definition?
They want material enjoyment and plus they want to serve the Lord also.
They want material world and transform into a spiritual realm. It's the most dangerous category, right? Conditioned soul is actually very clear with his boundaries. You see, boundary is material world. Pure devotees are very clear with their boundaries, but the mixed devotees, their boundaries are not clear, or we can say the mixed devotees are. We can put the circle here. Okay, if we take this out and this is also going. Okay, so let us make this circle. So we'll make this circle here, so that, okay. So these are mixed devotees. So for mixed devotees, their boundary is not very clear. They want to have the spiritual realm, in material world, and because they are wanting this, they suffer the most. Actually, the conditioned soul, they don't suffer so much. They suffer, but they don't have any experience of what is going on in this world. They think that this is what it is normal. And the pure devotees, they have no experience of the material world. But those who are mixed devotees, they want to create something spiritual, something like, oh, काश ऐसे होगा कि मैं जिनके साथ रह रहा हूँ, मेरी पत्नी, उनके साथ ही बिताऊं बस जीवन. काश ऐसे होगा कि मैं जिस घर में रह रहा हूँ, यही इटर्नल बन जाएगा, यही तो वृंदावन है ना. लाइक सो मेनी पीपल, दोज हु आर, दे विल कम, दे विल से, प्रभु यही घर वृंदावन है. एक्चुअली बच्चों में ही गोपाल ठाकुर जी ही दिखाई देता है मेरे को. ये जो हमारे बच्चे हैं, इन्हीं, यही गोपाल जी हैं प्रभु जी. यही लाडली है, यही लाल है, यही कृष्ण है, यही मेरी पत्नी राधा है, यही मैं ही कृष्ण हूं. बोल ही देते हैं फिर बाद में. So the conditioned soul wants to make material world and enjoy in the material world. The pure devotees, they want to be in the spiritual realm, but the mixed devotees are the most dangerous category. They want to create a spiritual realm within the material world, and that's how they have the chance, they run into danger of offending sadhus, because they know, see, why Vena offended. If Vena would have told that I don't know, I just know that I want to enjoy, then at least to some extent it would be better. But Vena used spiritual philosophy. That means he knew something about the spiritual realm, correct? Vena knew about the demigods. Vena knew about Vishnu, Shiva, everything. Vena knew about scriptures, and he is using the scriptures in a wrong perspective. So, as the conditioned souls, they don't offend sadhus. The conditioned souls, they are so busy. Rather, if you see the conditioned souls, they are very respectful for the sadhus. Ki Baba, there is, I don't know how they are living, without any business, without any economic development, how they are living. So the conditioned souls generally are very respectable to the sages and sadhus, and they are busy in their work, and they would not pay any heed, any attention. ठीक है, आपको खुश लग रहा है, आपको सही लग रहा है, करिए. So like that the conditioned soul goes on. But those who know the two different realms, they want to make a samanvay, integrate the two realms, they land up into danger of offending sadhus, misinterpreting scriptures, and rationalizing their wrong conclusions. So they will offend sadhus, they will misinterpret scriptures, they will rationalize wrong conclusions, because they know of this realm also some information, and they want to enjoy the material world also. So we need to understand that the sadhus, here when we talk about sadhus and guru, they will only instruct so that our ultimate spiritual well-being happens. And generally, those who are those who do not want, they have their own sense gratification or their program to enjoy this material world, they would consider the sadhus and guru as inexperienced. Right? They would consider sadhus inexperienced, impractical, or unreasonable, like that they will say. Now one may ask the question, okay, if the sadhus are fully in the spiritual realm, like the sadhus are in the spiritual realm here in this, then how they can instruct the conditioned soul? They don't know only. They will become inexperienced only. So if they are in spiritual realm, so how they will instruct? Yes, Uddharan Krishna.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, who is asking the question?
I didn't understand.
The question is that the sadhus and guru, they will ultimately instruct for spiritual well-being, and those who are mixed devotees, or their conditioned soul, they consider them as inexperienced and impractical. But problem is, here we see that the sadhus are supposed to instruct the conditioned soul. Now, how they can instruct? Because they don't know, they are in spiritual realm, and these people are in material world. How they will instruct?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The sadhus who are in the spiritual world, they are like in full knowledge. So they have knowledge of both spiritual world and material world. So they can instruct.
Okay. So they are
in ignorance, they are in full knowledge.
So they are in full knowledge. Okay.
Prabhuji, we are raising hand also.
Raising hand. Uddharan Krishna Prabhu, Syama Priya Mataji, and then Nidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think that if they are situated in spiritual realm, they know that material and spiritual both are part of Lord, both energies of Lord. So they use these energies interchangeably to explain the conditioned soul in their most understanding manner.
Okay, so both energies are part of Lord. Yes, Syama Priya Mataji.
Prabhu, I'm just thinking about Srila Prabhupada's example. Actually, he was a Uttamadhikari, but he came to the level of Madhyamadhikari to instruct all the disciples.
So they come down to Madhyamadhikari.
Down to our level or something like that.
Okay, they come down to our level. Yes, anyone else?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think they get inspiration from the Lord.
Very nice. So one Hari Bol for Nidhi Mataji. They get inspiration from the Lord. Yes. Next. Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So the sadhus also have done their sadhana. So from if not in this life, from many lifetimes they have been doing sadhana. So they know about material world as well as the spiritual realm both. So with their experience also they are able to tell.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Yes, anyone else?
प्रभुजी मैं वही श्लोक याद आ रहा था मुझे कीवा न्यासी कीवा विप्रय सुद्र केना नॉय जिनको साइंस है ना कृष्ण नॉलेज का वो पूरा श्लोक याद है वो तो किसी को भी सही इंस्ट्रक्शन दे सकते हैं.
No, we are talking about definitely they can instruct about spiritual realm, but how they can instruct about someone in material world? Because that's what the Vena is telling. You are inexperienced, आपको कुछ पता नहीं है क्या आप कर रहे हैं. You are trying to so in that way, definitely they can tell about Krishna. Okay. Anyone else? हाँ बोलो कौन बोल रहा है?
हमारे जो स्क्रिप्चर्स है उनमें स्क्रिप्चर्स में सब दिया हुआ है मटेरियल वर्ल्ड का भी एग्जांपल्स हैं and spiritual examples भी हैं. तो जो साधु से गुरु होते हैं उनको राइट नॉलेज होती है फुल्ली स्क्रिप्चर्स की फुल नॉलेज होती है. तो वहाँ से
Okay, so they have right knowledge from the scriptures. Okay, anyone else? Poonam Mataji. And then Sanjukta Mataji.
But the materialists, they are running in a rat race. And the sadhus, they are able to observe not one person, but multiple people in the same situation. But they are detached from that situation. So by that, they can give very good suggestions. Their exposure is much more.
So this is a very nice thing. One Hari Bol for Poonam Mataji. They're detached from the actions. Because they're detached from the actions, they can give, they can instruct. Yes, anyone else? Bolo.
Paramatma is there in everyone's heart, especially for sadhu and guru, as they are detached from like the material things. Like Prabhuji, अगर हम cooking का experience ले ले, तो जो cooking कर रहे हैं उनको पता है कि सब्जी मेरा कितना पक रहा है. जरूरी नहीं है कि material मतलब जो साधु है उनको materially सब कुछ experience करना ही है, क्योंकि परमात्मा के साथ कनेक्टेड रहते हैं, साधु बहुत ज्यादा रहते हैं, तो इसीलिए हम बहुत बार देखते भी है कि हम गुरु को बहुत कुछ चीज छुपाते हैं, लेकिन गुरु को पता पड़ जाते हैं, गुरु उसी हिसाब से हमको इंस्ट्रक्शन भी दे देते हैं कि हम यहाँ पे गलती कर रहे हैं. बहुत बार ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस, मतलब मैं तो देखा कि मैं बहुत बार कर चुकी हूँ.
Okay, so
गुरु को पता ही पड़ जाता है.
So Paramatma is there in the heart. Yes, so Krishna Prabhu, that is same thing. Yes.
Prabhuji, since the pure devotees, they have knowledge of scriptures, so they guide on the basis of principles, and they also tell what will happen if the principle is not followed.
Okay, then
yes, and they also they know that if the principle is not applied, what will be the consequences. So that's where in the 12th canto and all, the description of Kali Yuga, how it will degrade and all that is described. So the people are playing with the principles.
Yeah. Okay. Now we will discuss one example, because there are a lot of people who will tell you, who will tell you this, right? Who will support Vena. सही तो बोल रहा है, क्या गड़बड़ है, and वो तो राजा अच्छा है, ऐसा बोलेगा. तो we need to understand. I'll give an example. How many of you have cooked rice? So I'll tell cooked rice example, and I will also tell Srila Prabhupada's example. Thoda sa. Okay. So when we cook a rice, not in the rice cooker, but generally we cook the rice, we take out one rice and we press it, and so that we understand the entire rice. Correct? Yes? Do we have to press all the rice so that to see whether everything is cooked? Who is that lady, most intelligent lady, who tries to pick up all the rice and tries to sab cook hona chahiye, Prabhuji ka pet kharab hai. So we take out one rice, and that is one rice is enough to understand status of cooking. Similarly, though the sadhus may not be involved fully in this material world, but they just from 1 to different instances, because they are they know how the material realm run, the principles of the material realm of doing sense gratification. So they can instruct, because they just can pick up one rice. The second one, Srila Prabhupada gives a very more graphic example. Can anyone know what is stool example what Srila Prabhupada gives? Oh, you don't know?
Can I try?
You try. Hog को मतलब क्या? Human beings हम सब बैठे हुए हैं क्लास में.
I mean, seeing the texture, we can identify how the health of a person is.
नहीं, ये श्रील प्रभुपाद नहीं बोल रहे हैं. ये आपकी mental speculation है. Okay, Srila Prabhupada says that you don't have to taste stool to conclude that it is horrible. So sadhus may not taste, but they know what is material realm, what is spiritual realm, right? So, and the most important principle, these are the two examples what is given, that they take out the rice and the, and sometimes we think a person has to be fully experienced. We will take elaborately the section where Daksha is also like this. Daksha also offends Narad Muni. Like Daksha offends Lord Shiva, you all know. So Daksha also offends Narad Muni, telling Narad Muni, you are inexperienced, you are impractical, you made my boys, the brahmacharis, and they were supposed to experience the material world, and you made them brahmacharis, right? First they have to go through the experience of the material world, and then they will understand what is good, what is bad, and then they can detach from this world. So like that, Daksha also offended Narad Muni like this. So Srila Prabhupada speaks these two examples. One is the rice example, one is the stool example, right? One doesn't have to go through the material experience to understand how material experience is wrong, or what is the principles behind the material experience. One can just read the scriptures and understand everything. And beyond that, the third principle is we must have faith that the Chaitya Guru or Paramatma manifests as Guru by sadhus in our life. So the super soul in the heart is called the Paramatma, and the Paramatma in the heart actually manifests as a living Guru or sadhus in our life. So generally we have a tendency that what I think, like Vena is his understanding of the scriptures, and he is taking his understanding of the scriptures and he is trying to interpret it according to his benefits or his sense gratificatory needs. He has certain sensory needs, he has certain egoistic needs, he has certain mental needs, and based on the needs, so these are material needs, these are spiritual principles. So what Vena is doing, using spiritual principles to facilitate his material needs, and when the sages are telling Vena that stop, this is not the way you interpret the scriptures and all, he is telling that sages are inexperienced. Right? So we need to understand dharmo Dharmo hi apavargasya. Srimad Bhagavatam says that dharma's main goal is that we are spiritually getting uplifted in life. The goal of life is getting spiritually uplifted. And we need to understand that our spiritual upliftment is based on how we understand or how much faith we have that the Paramatma in our heart, who knows everything about us, is manifesting as Guru and Sadhus. And because the Paramatma is only manifesting, later on, if we are accusing the Sadhus, like Vena is accusing the Sadhus are inexperienced, he is actually accusing the Paramatma or the Supreme Lord, because the Supreme Lord is represented by the Sadhus and Gurus, right? Then after some time he will tell the Supreme Lord also is inexperienced and he also doesn't know anything. Just like some people say, na, they sing the song, na? My father used to sing, Duniya kya banane wale, what the Duniya ye
बनाने वाली क्या तेरे मन में समाया.
What दुनिया तुमने बना दिया, क्या दुनिया तुमने बना दिया, क्या दुनिया. So first they will accuse sadhus, and then they will not get the sadhus, they will accuse the Supreme Lord only. अरे क्या दुनिया बना दिया, क्या दुनिया बना, तुम दुनिया बनाने वाले से बड़ा बुद्धिमान हो गया, तुम दुनिया पता चल गया तुमको क्यों दुनिया बना दिया, कैसे दुनिया बना देना. So the conditioned soul, which is small intelligence, is trying to figure out how the world is running and who is good, who is right, who is wrong. And ultimately the center is, I am all right. What I am thinking is all right. So in this way, we need to understand just from this Vena's accusation that, see, Vena is not behaving like a conditioned soul. Vena is behaving as if he knows all the scriptures, and that's how was the most important thing that we are seeing, that he was quoting scriptures and misinterpreting them, rationalizing wrong conclusions, and in this way offending the sadhus. And that's how, because we are also learning scriptures, we are also learning the science of devotional service, we also run the risk of misinterpreting them, rationalizing them without making the right conclusions, right? So we may have situations in life, we may have decisions in life, we may have perceptions in life, and we have some convictions in life, of life. So we go through some situations, we have to take some decisions in life, we have some certain perceptions about people, certain perceptions about how things should be done, and we have certain convictions. So all these things we need to understand that we always run a risk of using scriptures to fit my needs. And that's how we should be very, very careful. That will be Shastra Aparadh. That is the fourth offense. So anyone knows the fourth offense to holy name? Can anyone say? We are every day reciting.
Blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures in pursuance of the Vedic word.
So to blaspheme or misinterpret the scriptures, and also to blaspheme the Vaishnavas, Sadhus, Guru, and all those things. These are all concomitant, they will come. So we go through some situations, we have to take some decisions, we have some perceptions, we have convictions, and because we also know the scriptures now. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, where it is happening? They are happening in material realm here. They are happening in the material realm. The situations, the perceptions, the convictions. Now since we know the scriptures also. So because we have both the things, so we also run the risk of misinterpreting scriptures based on what it suits. And to give a spiritual color to our sense gratification. So which is very, very dangerous. Yesterday I was giving class, and after class there was one foreigner devotee who attended the class and who had come to the temple. He stays in Mayapur, he is from Hungary, disciple of His Holiness Sivram Swami Maharaj. So he had some questions. He liked the class and he said, okay, I want to interact with you. Can you give me 1 hour of time every week and we can have Zoom call? I said, okay, I will find out. That 1 hour every week is a big thing. So then I said, it gives me a lot of faith and gives us all of us the faith that so many foreigners are coming and and chanting Hare Krishna, and that means that the Krishna consciousness is beyond all these things, beyond these boundaries and the race and culture and religion and Hindu, Muslim, Christian and all those things. So that boosts the faith of so many people. So he was telling that actually we foreigners, we have less struggle. The Indians' conditions are very, very bad because they have so many philosophies, so many wrong philosophies, and everyone thinks their philosophy is completely spiritual, and they get completely rotten by this impersonalistic philosophy, materialistic philosophy, and everyone thinks that I am the most pious person, I am religious. They come to some temple, put some diya, give some donation and charity, and they think that this is the goal of spirituality. And that's how he was telling that when I see the condition of Indians, I feel it is more difficult, because difficult to turn the Indians to devotional, to pure devotional service, because they keep on rationalizing the scriptures for their need. So this is the risk of and how to come out of the risk. Can anyone say last how to come out of this risk?
Always taking advice from spiritual authority.
Yeah, we have to always take, we should understand the situation, decisions, perception, convictions we have. They are all from our material mind, and we should always take advice and consult and reconfirm before acting on it. And we should have faith that sometimes we don't consult and reconfirm because we may not have faith. We may think like Vena, he may be inexperienced, what he will speak. But we must have faith that the Guru and is the manifestation of Paramatma in our life. And if you don't have that faith, like the Vena is not having faith on the sadhus only, so and he is telling them inexperienced, then what will be the situation? Maybe ultimately death only. The sages became so offended. Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes, any question? We have some 10-15 minutes. Yes, Udharan Krishna Prabhu. Mute. Everyone, please mute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, I have some doubt. So I see the situation of Vena is very similar to Hiranyakashipu. When Hiranyakashipu also in the beginning, he was giving such kind of upadesh when Hiranyaksha was killed.
Yes.
His mother, right? Like, it seems like he's giving the all the right injunctions from the scripture. So I to get satisfaction in life. So just thinking that the guidance of Vena is a different case altogether, I can understand. But the guidance itself is also coming wrong. It is not coming from the perspective that you have to go back to Godhead. So many times this guidance also is coming and it's showing that these sages or so-called people are inexperienced.
Yes.
Then what is way out for a conditioned soul in such kind of cases?
Yeah. So here the sages. So for someone like regarding guidance, how the guidance is different for different people. Regarding guidance, for someone who is a vagabond, you understand who is a vagabond? Who is irresponsible, loafer. For him, the guidance is that get married. Take job. Do something. Correct? But someone who is already taking material responsibility, for someone who is doing it meticulously, then he is guided that go to spiritual realm. The material world is useless. So guidance is also dependent on whom we are guiding. So Vena is in this category. Sinful person. So the sages are trying to uplift him to a materially responsible person, at least worshipping the demigods, following the scriptures, following the sadhus. But someone who is materially responsible, he is asked to be spiritually enlightened. Right? So the guidance that is given is also different for different kinds of people. And the sages are definitely talking about demigods and not talking about going to spiritual world, because first he has to stay in material world properly. So what to speak of going to spiritual world, right? So they are using that type of logic, that at least he becomes a proper king. And that's how they are not speaking about spiritual realm. And definitely, as you said, that the guidance is also important, and what type of guidance is given, right? It also depends on the person or the level of the person. It is important, and that aspect is also important. So now, what is your question?
Prabhu, my question is that someone who's from the child only got a wrong guidance. So what is the way out for such kind of people? Like Hiranyakashipu had a wrong guidance from the beginning itself. And so I was just thinking that is there any way out for them, or it's Lord arranges somebody?
So from childhood, why a person is getting wrong guidance? Because he has desired in his last life like that, right? So because he has desired like that, that's why he is getting wrong guidance. And if someone has done some past spiritual activities in past life, even if he gets wrong guidance, he will not get affected. Like from childhood, my parents have been forcing me to take non-veg. I didn't accept. They have been forcing me, get married from childhood. No, I think your conceptions are wrong. I said, okay, no problem. So either he has done some spiritual activities in past, that's why he has been born, and he will not get affected by whatever guidance the people give. He will be on his own, right? Or if he is getting affected or he is getting wrong guidance, that means he has desired it in some life. He has desired it in some life. Okay. Now why then some devotees who have done some previous pious activities or bhakti and everything, they are born in non-devotees families, to make them detached? Like, why, one may ask question, then why, if I would have done some pious previous activities, born in a family where people are eating meat and fish, and so that I can be, it will facilitate my detachment. I will have no attachment to the family, and it is good. So sometimes Krishna also arranges like this. Like, why Krishna arranges Srila Prabhupada to have such a wife and such children, right? No one became devotees. So Srila Prabhupada can be detached and work for Krishna and go back to Godhead. So these are the three cases. One is he is born to and not getting proper guidance, that means he has desired. Second is he is spiritually, he has done something in previous life, still he is getting wrong guidance, but he is not affected. Why is getting the wrong guidance? People Krishna wants him to get detached from the people who are giving him guidance. The third is he has not done spiritual activity, he is getting wrong guidance, but then Krishna sends devotees in their life, and if he considers devotees or guru and has faith that he is doing for my good, then he improves in his life. Okay? But if someone is getting wrong guidance, means these are the two things. Either he has desired or Krishna wants him to get detached. Yes, because he will get guidance from his parents, right? And family members. Outside people will not guide him. Or friends. Is this clear what I am telling? Meaning to say?
Yes, I understood. Like in some of the religion, like from the childhood they teach to take up weapons. So maybe they have desired.
Yeah. Very much. That's why you see, to begin speaking about spirituality, the first thing Krishna speaks about is soul. Until unless we accept soul and that there is previous life and then there is future life, we will not be able to digest spirituality. It will not become conclusive. So if they have come to be born in a family where there are weapons, they have desired to have weapons. Definitely, there is no question about it. And if they are not getting affected being born in that family, that means they have done some past bhakti. And Krishna has put them in those families so that they can be detached from their family. These are the two things. Right? Okay, yes. Anyone else? Oh, so many questions are there. Ravi Prabhu, then Kushal Bihari Prabhu. बोलो.
प्रभु जी, ये जो था आपने एक थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन ये था कि the sadhus and guru instruct ultimate spiritual well-being. So for mixed devotees, for devotees it is okay, but for conditioned soul, वो थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन है. कंडीशनड सोल को तो स्पिरिचुअल realm के बारे में मालूम नहीं. How will they approach? जब वो अप्रोच करेंगे उनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. वो भाई तुम कौन हो? You don't understand anything.
Yes.
So how will they?
Yeah. So the sadhus, that's why they are very intelligent. They first try to tell the conditioned souls that how spirituality can help in their material life, and slowly they say that how material life is not the only life, there is spiritual life itself. So that's how the sadhus create something called a bridge. So here there is material and this is spiritual. So the sadhus create a bridge where people can walk to the spiritual realm. And what is that bridge? That bridge is benefits, material benefits of spirituality. Like we say, you'll become stress free, your mind will be calm, composed, this, that, so many things we say, right? So material benefits of spirituality. But that is just a bridge. We don't make people stay in the bridge. Bridge is not for staying. Bridge is just for crossing. So, the right sadhu, he may take a bridge and tell about material benefits of spirituality in the beginning, but after some time, he clearly says that the material realm is a temporary place. The real goal of life is spirituality. So, he doesn't keep the bridge and keep on telling, okay, aap idhar hi bridge mein ghar banao. And these are all pious people. So the sadhu said, okay, piety is one thing, that is mundane piety, but actually spirituality is different from piety. Spirituality means we don't want to stay in this material world, we want to go back to Godhead. But they want to stay in the material world, they don't want to go back to Godhead. So we tell, okay, spirituality will help you stay in the material world, that's the bridge. And then after some time, when they understand that spirituality is important, then we tell them actually the mundane piety is useless and goal of life is to go back to God. So we need to create a bridge. Okay? But at one point of time, we have to tell that this is not the goal of spirituality. Like if you see the Bhagavad Gita basics. So Bhagavad Gita basics, we say how that Bhagavad Gita helps in our material life. But if you see the advanced class, first class of the advanced Bhagavad Gita advanced, the first class, if you hear everyone should hear the first class. If you hear the first class, it's very clear that Bhagavad Gita is not for our material life or improving material life. It is for improving our spiritual life, right? So like that. Okay, yes, Krishna Bihari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Bolo.
Prabhuji, in ISKCON also we have seen fall downs of many gurus actually.
Yes.
Even in today's situation also we see that many devotees who became big preachers and then they actually separated from ISKCON, they started something new philosophy and some other teachings. So it becomes very difficult for a person who, even one who has been in movement for a long time, to put trust and faith on somebody, whether the person will give us right guidance or not. So for that, how to resolve this kind of dilemma if somebody has actually?
Yeah, so the trust comes from a sublime and sincere heart. So if a person is sincere within the heart that he wants to advance in spiritual life, then Krishna will guide him to trustworthy superiors. So we need to understand that definitely those who are superiors, who didn't follow the spiritual path properly, are definitely wrong. But their followers also were wrong, in the sense that their followers, if they see their superior not following the spiritual path properly, they can always choose another superior. So this is first thing, that from followers' perspective, Okay. So the gurus and sadhus are path to God. They are not God, right? And because they're not God, they may also have difficulties. So that's why if the path gets choked, imagine you are going in one path, you are going in one road, and the road, there is a roadblock ahead, and you see the roadblock. And then will you cry just, "Are, galat rasta le liya, galat rasta le liya, galat." Definitely there is some lamentation, galat rasta le liya. But the lamentation is there, but will you just sit down on the road and lament and do nothing? No. Then you make a detour and take a right road. So from the follower's perspective, one should understand, yes, शायद मैंने गलत रास्ता ले लिया, but I will find out the right rasta. So from teacher's perspective, we need to be careful and understand the serious responsibility and second, we need to do training, and third, we need to be careful in empowering. So from organization perspective, we need to do. But even if we follow all these three things, the material world is a place where all these dangers are supposed to be there. So the way we are facing danger is not because we may follow all the steps of whom to empower, who should be guru, who should not be guru, this, that, all the things we may do. But still, the material world is designed in such a way that there will be some lapses, because it is a place of lapses. So what we can do after doing all these things, if there is lapses, we just tell, "Oh Krishna, this is how material world is," then choose another path, right? And the second one is, so when we are going in a path, we always also go see the signboard. Yes, the signboard likha hua hai Delhi 200 kilometers. So we go in that path only where there is a signboard. Imagine there is no signboard in this path. We put the path which has the signboard. So signboards are like the scriptures. So we need to understand whether the guru is following the scriptures, first thing. And the signboards are, guru should have also guru. Right? So these are all signboards. But even if we follow signboards, even if we are doing all the care and everything from teacher's perspective, from follower's perspective, there will be lapses. We can't avoid lapses in material world. That is simply not possible. There is nothing called 100% purity in material world. The person can be 100% purity, but if you want to see the entire system of material world will become 100% pure, it will not happen. Material world will always remain dvanda. There will be some completely pure people, some impure people. That always will be there. And if we expect that everyone who is empowered as a teacher will all speak pure philosophy, it will not happen. Some will speak mixed philosophy. Some will be cheating their public disciples. Some will be sincerely, seriously taking their responsibility. That is how it is. We need to understand, and we have to become intelligent in the sense that we need to read scriptures, and we also need to examine and pray to Krishna that, oh Krishna, guide me properly, then Krishna will guide us properly. But even if we do all the parameters, we check all the parameters, so there will be lapses. And that should be our impetus. Oh Krishna, kya gadbad duniya hai, please make me come to spiritual world. So that should make us more serious to go to spiritual world, right? We cannot avoid. That's how it is. But we can minimize these lapses definitely through care. Is this getting clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
We can only minimize. We cannot. Like Srila Prabhupada empowered so many of his disciples, but many disciples actually kept the faith of the spiritual master. They followed Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and many didn't follow. Similarly, now also we are initiating. So many people we are initiating. How many people, those who are initiated, they don't follow properly the standards. Still we initiate, understanding that what can we do? Let us do our service very nicely, and that is their part. They are getting initiated, they are becoming guru, teacher, but they are not following. So as an organization, we should understand that this is how the material world will be. We can only make as much as possible precautions we can take, but we cannot reduce the lapses to zero, because everyone is an individual. We see that we give so many initiations. Are all the initiates or disciples following properly the principles? No. Many of them take initiation and break the 4 regulative principles. Even after initiation, 1 or 2, 3 years they follow. After that they start breaking. So what we can do? Stop initiation? No, don't stop initiation. Become more careful. But even if we are more careful, still people break. What we can do? Nothing. This is how material world is. But those who are sincerely following, the scriptures are telling they will go back to Godhead. So in that way, we need to understand that these things will always be available in material world. But if one is sincere and serious about going out of the material world, he will find his path. Krishna will guide him to find the path. Okay. One should not feel discouraged seeing this, because this is not natural and normal in material world. You are able to understand?
Yes, Lord.
This is natural and this is normal. Like one devotee went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, so many disciples are living Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, this is natural. This is what it is, normal. This is material world. Right?
People are surprised if people are
staying, remaining and doing properly. Right? This is normal. Okay, yes, Ajay Prabhu. And then Madhur Prabhu, then we'll end. Bolo, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, sadhus, they try to give some instruction and advice to Vena to do what to do, what not to do. But Vena did not listen to them, and instead of that, he told that you people are inexperienced and foolish. So ultimately the sadhus become very angry and they kill Venas, and Vena was killed to the fire of anger, I think,
yes.
From the sadhus. So what happened after to this? Means his soul, Vena's soul came out from the elevated to the higher planet, or still he remained in this material world? Because he was killed by the sadhus who are very pure devotees.
Yes. So what happened is that Vena had to suffer all the reactions. So though Vena was pure devotee, the sadhus were pure and they cursed, but Vena had to suffer because of the offenses that he did to the sadhus. So when one offends, Mahat Atikrama, it is said Mahat Atikrama means offending great souls. When one offends great souls like this, then he is doomed. So, like scriptures say, like Arjuna was pure devotee, and many of the soldiers who were being killed by Arjuna, they were elevated because they were being killed by a pure devotee, Arjuna. Right? Parthastu putra padamapurasya. Because of Partha Astra, Puta, they were getting purified. Padamapurasya, they were getting elevated. But the soldiers were not offending Arjuna. They were not offending Supreme Lord. They were just coming because their king has said that you have to fight. But here Vena is right away offending, and that's why though Vena is being killed by the anger of sadhus, Vena have to suffer, right? But though Vena has to suffer, the sadhus are very compassionate. Definitely the sadhus would have prayed, and we'll see also how the sadhus are very compassionate on the public. So we need to understand, even if we get cursed by the sadhus will always pray for us. That doesn't mean that because sadhus are praying for us, we will offend them. But sadhus will always remain compassionate. Definitely Vena would have definitely got something. I don't know where is Vena now. We have to check from Narad Muni or Krishna, where is Vena now. But definitely he would have suffered, and after suffering, sadhu's prayers would be acting on him, and he would have got some good body and everything. Vena Prabhu ki jai. I don't know where is Vena, but his name is in Bhagavatam means he's a great soul. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes, Madhur Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad.
Thank you again, Prabhu, for a very enlightening session. Prabhu, I had read this story, but obviously to his understanding is totally different from what I understood or what I read previously. Sometimes Prabhu, spirituality looks very easy. And sometimes you realize it's not that easy, and you require a lot of determination. The path is not very easy. Prabhu, today is a very special day. We have completed 100 class of Rasmalai English session today.
Okay.
I was keeping it track.
Very good.
We started from 19 September 21. And today is the 100th session. I'm talking about only the English, not the Hindi one. And this doesn't include other classes. So, really enjoying the session, Prabhu. It's the best part of the day or the week or the month, I can say. And we can assure you, Prabhu, that whatever may happen, we will not leave this thing. We are really enjoying the spirituality, and we'll definitely continue. Thank you, Prabhu.
All of us should raise our bat. Today we have done century. And pat our backs. And so, yes, century. Yes. So, in just one century, we are feeling so enlivened and gladdened. So, how much we'll find happiness when we reach spiritual world. We have been talking about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, and we have been hearing about Krishna, hearing so much about Krishna that we are feeling sleepy. अरे कितना सुनेंगे भगवान के बारे में. So hearing and falling asleep, same cheese. Krishna मोर पंख पहना हुआ है, flute बजा हुआ है, हर करें. So we have been hearing and sleeping, and then when we'll meet Krishna, say Krishna कितना सुना, अभी जाके तुमको देखा, बाप रे बाप. And I'm assuring you that whatever we have heard about Krishna, whatever we have spoken about Krishna, when we will meet Krishna, it will be a completely different experience. The first thing we will tell to Krishna, oh Krishna, all the scriptures are wrong. You are much more, infinitely more beautiful than what the scriptures are telling. All the scriptures are wrong, that your flute is mesmerizing. Your flute is infinitely more intoxicating what the scriptures are describing. So that would be our experience when we meet Krishna. But that eagerness and aspiration is very, very important for us to go on with determination. To today's 100th session, if you want to continue further 200, 300, 400, that determination will come with that eagerness to meet Krishna. Yesterday I was hearing from His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. Maharaj was telling that Aloka Brata and Loka Brata. Maharaj describing that Aloka Brata and Loka Brata. So Aloka Brata and Loka Brata. Loka Brata means one who is Brata. Brata means determined. determined in this material world. मैं तो करके दिखाऊंगा, पैसा कमाऊंगा, ये करूंगा, वो से करूंगा, शादी करूंगा, बच्चे करूंगा और बच्चों को भी परवरिश करूंगा, बच्चों को IIT भेजूंगा, MBA करूंगा, ये करूंगा. So लोकव्रता. And then there is alokavrata. Those who are determined for aloka, matlab beyond this loka, for the beyond the material realm. And Maharaj was telling that how until unless we are having aspiration for aloka, we cannot have brata for aloka world. So we need to first aspire sincerely for getting into spiritual world, seeing Krishna, talking with Krishna, and that aspiration will give us determination, right? So Dridha Brata will come when we will have Dridha Ichha. So that Dridha Ichha has to be there. When I will meet Krishna, when I will meet. And Maharaj is telling that for a sadhaka, for all of us, that Dridha Ichha to meet Krishna, scriptures are telling Kamala Patrakshi, Krishna is Kamala Patrakshi, Kamala ki tarha unka aksha hai, Pundari Kaksha. So how Krishna's lies would be looking? I have been hearing. Krishna looks like a lotus only. And Krishna's fragrance is so intoxicating, his bodily fragrance, his flute is so intoxicating. Recently I was reading one verse. Radharani is telling, ki hey Lalite, this flute and the bow. This is what Radharani is telling, the bow. If I can open the verse. Very nice verse. Okay. So, we'll read the verse and we'll end. Oh, it is not downloading. It's downloading. Yeah, this is the verse. This is the last verse I read on this. This is from Vidagdha Madhav. So, anyone who wants to recite, you can recite. Sutiste dhanushascha vamsavarato.
Sutiste dhanushascha vamsavarato.
Vande tayor antimam.
Vande tayor antimam.
Vidheyena janastanum viharayan.
Vidheyena janastanum viharayan.
Nantaschiram tam yati.
Nantaschiram tam yati.
Viddhanam hridimara patri vishamer.
Viddhanam hridimara patri vishamer.
Dhvaneshu bhirnastvaya.
Dhvaneshu bhirnastvaya.
Krure vamsi na jivanam na chamriti.
Krure vamsi na jivanam na chamriti.
Ghora virashiddasa.
So
Radharani is telling, Radharani is telling to Lalita, being very disturbed. Yes, Lalita, you speak the truth. The terrible flute has become my enemy. I will scold it. You and the bow, and this is a scolding Radharani is making to the flute. You and the bow are both born from excellent bamboo. Matlab, pita ek hi hai. Bamboo se paida hua. The bow, that bow means dhanus, right? But I offer respects to the bow because a person is pierced by the bow, gives up his body without suffering for a long time. जब मरता है धनुष से तुरंत मर जाता है. Oh cruel flute, when you pierce us in the heart with the arrows of your sound, more painful than Cupid's arrows, we enter a terrible state which is neither life nor death. So in this way, when we hear the flute, it is such intoxicating. And when we come to Krishna consciousness, we realize that when we'll meet Krishna, we'll realize whatever we have heard about the flute, about Krishna's form, everything we'll think, oh, I think the scriptures, Namo Giram Viduraya, as Gajendra is telling, oh, definitely, Krishna is beyond the words, beyond mind. The scriptures are not sufficiently glorifying Krishna, sufficiently glorifying Lord Ramachandra. So in this way, we can only use some material metaphor like lotus and all those things so that to glorify Krishna. But actually Krishna is much beyond, his beauty is much beyond. And that aspiration to meet Krishna, कि मेरे को मिलना है, will give us aloka brata, determination to go ahead again more and more and more. Oh, when I'll meet Krishna, when I'll meet Krishna, right? Otherwise, the material realm can be very, very, very entangling. The pursuit for material pleasure and paisa kamana, earning more money, getting more and more properties can be so entangling if we do not have aspiration to actually meet Krishna. Okay, so we bless and we pray for each one of you that you develop more and more intense aspiration to go to spiritual world and meet Krishna and deal with Krishna, and that will help you to remain aloka brata, right, and get rid of loka brata, right? So I was hearing Maharaj's class, so Maharaj was elaborately explaining on this verse, aloka brata versus loka brata. We are so fortunate we get such association of great souls, and great souls' mercy are actually within their words, and we should understand that more and more we should get attached to the hearing from the sadhu's words. And when we are hearing sincerely from sadhu's words more and more and repeat them, just like yesterday I heard, so I'm just repeating. Similarly, Thursday I read this Rupa Goswami's this verse, I'm just repeating. So more and more we repeat and we fall in love with sadhu's instructions and words, then that will be opening our door for liberation. So that is the secret of going back to Godhead, to develop love for the Bani of the sadhu, right? And in ISKCON we are so fortunate, we have so many sadhus giving nectar, and more we get attached to that nectar, right? Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam. We are suffering in this material world, right, with so much of determination and thinking what to do, how I can become more bigger, greater, how I can become more wealthier, right? And we have so much of determination to earn so many things in this material world. But we need to have aloka brata. If we have serious ichha, drida ichha, that one day will come, I will meet Krishna. And that's why there are so many Vaishnava songs who speak about it. They are called Lalasa Mai Prarthana. So we should sing those Vaishnava songs by Narottam Das Thakur. Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi Mora. So if you sing these Vaishnava songs, these are all Lalasa Mai Prarthana, and meditate on them, so then our ichha will get transformed. And when our ichha is transformed, then will be aloka brata and not loka brata, right? And you will also see over the years as we come, we make 200. So those who made 100 will be some number, and those who make 200 will be a lesser number. So as we go ahead, so their numbers may reduce, but we should keep our determination. Nahi, mere ko jana hai. Like when I joined Brahmachari Ashram, there were 80 of us. Now we are 30 of us. So 50 are gone. Kahan sab chale gaye. So we can imagine this is how in just 10-15 years I have seen 50 brahmacharis. Kahan kaun sab chale gaye. So we need to understand this is material world, and people are very much loka brata. Loka means this material world, and very determined to get something out of the material world. But if they develop somehow through attachment to sadhus, we develop ichha for spiritual realm, right? That's how sadhus they do. They get, अरे कितना बोलता है कृष्ण के बारे में, कितना बोलता है, अब तो मैं देखूंगा ही देखूंगा, कौन है ये कृष्णा, पागलों की तरह बोलता रहता है, मैं सब सो रहा हूँ फिर भी बोल रहा है, ये कैसा आदमी है, सब कोई सो रहा है फिर भी कृष्ण के बारे में बोलता रहता है, कौन है ये कृष्ण? So that ichha to meet Krishna comes by attachment to sadhus. And if our ichha is not coming, right, then we are offending the sadhus. If the sadhu is proper, speaking about Krishna, our desire is not rising by associating with the sadhus. That means we are offending the sadhus. We are doing a Vaishnava parad. That's why our ichha is not coming. So if we don't do Vaishnava parad, if we respect the sadhus, we'll develop great eagerness. And then that eagerness will develop aloka brata. Okay, I just summarized what I heard from Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai gaur premanande. Hari Hari bol. Vancha kalpataru vasya kripa sindhu devacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo ananta koti vaishnav vrindi ki jai. Krishna Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hari bol. Hare Krishna.